So our next person is Nick Chen. If you can just introduce yourself.
We're a new member. This is our second year. We're based in Shanghai, Beijing, and Taipei. We're a 30-person firm composed of mainland Chinese, Taiwanese, U.S., and one Hong Kong Brit. We're a mutt, a mix of different kinds of lawyers doing basically business supporting work, which is legal and otherwise. We don't separate the two. We've been involved with the evolution of China from a very closed society and finding its way to open up. I've been going to China for 42 years. This is my 42nd year. I've seen a lot of transformation. Actually, I was thinking about a cartoon that I saw in the Los Angeles Times. It was a picture of a caricature of the Uncle Sam, a very gaunt, tall, red, white, and blue outfit guy with a tall hat sitting at a table with a gypsy fortune teller and a crystal ball. And on the bubble on top of Uncle Sam, it said, "Can you tell me my future?" And on top of the bubble of the gypsy, it said, "I would if I could, but I can't read Chinese." That cartoon, I think, is relevant to all of us. Last year, I attended and listened to Itzhak's presentation and met many IR colleagues. And clearly, my entire perspective, today's concept is changing perspectives. It really shifted. Much of my work in the past has been directed towards helping companies and businesses establish, operate, and grow safely in China. And today's changing perspective, I think I had a brain transplant this morning. So what we have done is we have tried to dedicate resources to the other direction, which is outbound. And I'll talk about some of that here. I've partnered with many of you to try to build that outbound direction, because I think that's the magic that IR's potential is. So that if we can do things together that none of us can do individually, I think that's Peter's message. I think if we focus on that and we're proactive on that, then we'll meet some of this potential.
Okay.
So
that's good. So perhaps you could just take us through, I mean, there's quite a lot here. There's 15. Perhaps you could just take us through a couple of interesting ones.
Yeah.
I know there's some guys here
we have a
today.
chance to probably try to send out about 15 to 20 projects. Some of them turned into revenue-generating projects. Some did not. They were all tries. I'll talk about 2 or 3 of them. There's a new member. Why don't we, stay here. Tay and Partners. There's Ben Chai Tay, who actually just walked out. He's a new member from Malaysia. He sent a project. It was a small joint venture project. It was actually the launch of a new joint venture airline. And the airline is called Tiger Air. It's out of Singapore. Partnering with a Taiwanese airline, just launched the business. We were very appreciative of that referral. Stevens and Bolton. Is Nicola here? In the back there. We had a chance to work with Nicola. We met her at the reception last year here. She told us about our practice, and we went back. We formed it was a client group. It was we did some fundraising. We did 2 rounds of fundraising for the purpose of a roll-up of 3 or 4 franchise-type brands, businesses, retail, restaurant, consumer, and they had the rights for Taiwan and China. We're growing that business. We'll continue to work with Nicola. She was key both in terms of timing, response, quality, impressed the client, and it got them passed off the dime. We're very grateful for her expertise in the franchise area. Thank you.
Good words.
We subsequently have done actually a couple of other things. We're cooking some banking and finance projects under UK law for a bank in Europe to expand their work in China. And we've had some estate and probate work. And they're random pieces, but we're growing the relationship and we're enjoying it. There was one other on the next page. The last one with Alice's firm in Prague, Schaffer, which I think I'll talk about because we have another slide about it.
Yep.
So I won't go into that.
No.
But basically, some of these, I think, were fee generating. I think with Bob Fishman, we were able to get some support on a project. Some of the others, they were really to support. I think the Shoestack firm had a question about enforcement of foreign judgment, service of process, letters rogatory. There's no fee for us. It didn't matter. We just try to help. So if there's anything related to China or Taiwan that you have questions about, don't be shy. Just ask.
Okay. No, that's good. Yeah, thanks, Nick. And I know that you mentioned Tay and Partners. You've been quite active in actually finding new members to join the group. And this is quite important because if you work with guys and you recommend them to us and you think they're trustworthy, the chances are we will. And it does generate more activity for members if you're working with people that you can trust. So if there are people and firms that you work with who think would be beneficial, and you know the type of people that we're looking for, let's have a talk with them. Let's have some dialogue and see if we can get them involved in the group.
Shirley from China Integrated, are you in the audience? Can you stand up? Yeah. Shirley's here for a new member, first time. We've been trying to recruit like-minded new members. Shirley and her team are very capable, doing a lot of partner matching, a lot of market research. So think of her firm as well. There's a lot of growth in the China area. We need more. We need to make sure that the answer that the gypsy lady says comes out in your language, in your home jurisdiction. So we can't do it all. We want others to help. Yeah. We were able to bring in a firm in Thailand, which I think we had no member in, BC Tay. And then we have a firm that covers both Cambodia and Myanmar. We got a CPA firm in central Taiwan. And Anand, there's a guy, Batsaya from Mongolia. It's a good small boutique firm. You'll meet them in Shanghai. And I have an old friend, Wang Jing, who has a maritime insurance firm. And also they do general commercial work. We've had many good experiences with them. I've probably known one of their main partners for 15 years. So they apologize they couldn't be here this time.
They did join. They have joined in the last couple of weeks.
So I didn't know because it was pending. I didn't know the result until yesterday.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were able to bring 7 new firms into the network. We'll target some more for some of the other areas.
Yeah.
And they were very clear about the criteria for selection called like-minded.
Yeah.
So we're trying to bring good people in.
Yeah. Thanks, Nick.
That you will enjoy working with and eating with and drinking with.
It's important. It's important. Yeah, so you alluded to some work with Alice. So yeah, perhaps you can just tell us about a key project that you did.
After the London meeting, soon after the London meeting, we had a visit from the Schaffer firm. They showed up in Taipei. There was no advance warning. It was just a phone call. Hi, we're in town on something. Can we come by? And made friends immediately. They needed some support locally. We helped them. And then later on, we stayed in touch. And they proposed a joint seminar in Beijing at the Czech embassy. And so I sent a partner from Shanghai. His name is Zhang Jian. And we met with about 80 companies, 80 groups that were companies and as well as government agencies. And we're trying to grow the outbound work into the Czech Republic. There was recently a follow-on meeting that I just came back from. I had a chance to tell Alice about it just this morning. It was so recent. I went to meet with the Czech embassy. And so we're trying to develop a support system both in Prague and in China to help the embassy with their commercial and trade support to their companies so that we as IR can get in the set up a channel where we will get referrals from the embassy on a two-way flow. We want to do it together. Neither firm could do it alone. And so doing things together and doing stuff coordinated when we're not actually physically together so that the clients, whether they're from the Czech Republic coming to Asia or the other way around, if they need to do it in Czech, in the Czech Republic, in Prague, or they need to do it in Asia. So we're trying to build those partnerships, and we're open to doing that, both as ourselves, but we hope that other people will do that, because that's how creating the business flows.
Yeah, no, that's good. And perhaps you can just tell us about a seminar, I think next month, isn't it, with ARCO? I think
Is the
Roger,
ARCO person here?
Yeah, Roger. I think he's here. I know it's with Mercedes you've been working. She's unfortunately not able to join us. But.
Juan, my colleague, has been leading on this. This firm, they approached us about doing franchising work. They've just actually attended, they're now actually in Shanghai attending a big franchise show, and they've proposed doing a big presentation in Madrid in the near term. I think that the actual date is to be set. Again, this is an example of how we can team. Again, trying to grow business because we have the arbitrage on two sides, that we can combine talents that neither firm could do alone. And so this is another example. And this happens to be in the franchise area, which I know there's an effort in the practice group with Nicola and Merced and some others. Yeah. So we look forward to these. And we think that while the caricature was Uncle Sam, it doesn't have to be American. And I will leave that comment right where it is.
Yeah, good. So moving on to a similar kind of program.
Idea.
Perhaps you can just talk us through this, Nick.
Since joining IR, we decided that we would allocate time and resources to develop initiatives where we would try to develop channels and feeder base to send work out. And one of the easiest areas is in immigration. And this is just a partial listing. And so this is in formation. The idea, again, is to try to combine talents and be a we combine and aggregate our talents and market into China. China, for you read the news about the food quality, you read the news about the air pollution. As a guy who owns a gas mask, a military gas mask, I can tell you the air is really bad. Okay? And so that, of course, translates into people wanting to leave, meaning lots of people. They're no small numbers. They're only big numbers. And so families, they want to take care of their families or the next generation. I don't have this expertise, but you do. So the idea for us is we're going to start with the families. And this has overlap, obviously, into wealth management, asset protection, and also into companies, direct foreign investment, because many of these people will be influential in the business world. And so if we start with immigration, we'll build this platform. Again, it will take us some time to do this. Last night, I met a gentleman from Malta. Jonathan, are you here? Hi. Jonathan, in the first 10 minutes, he just said what it took me 42 years to figure out. He says, Chinese clients are just not that easy. So well, that is a very smart man.
Wise words.
Anyway, so it will take time, as we talked about. And what we'll try to do is to use IR as bait. And then many of the families don't want to be trapped into using just a broker that doesn't care whether they go to country A or country B. What we want to know is what would be a good match, a right fit. And then they have more choices. So we hope that instead of just pushing one country or two countries, that we can attract more. What we see, again, I wasn't referring to the US government, if you have a hammer, then you see every situation as a nail. It's not that way. Every family has different preferences and different needs, and therefore it connotes different potential destinations. But this platform, this idea, can be used for other practice areas. So anyway, so we're expending and spending and investing to do this so that we want IR to grow. Yeah. We're committed. This morning, changing perspectives, I had another brain transplant. It wasn't just changing the perspective this time. So we're voting with our time, we're voting with our dollars, and we hope to see you all in Shanghai.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks, thanks, Nick.
Could I go back one slide? I just want to share this one point.
Sure.
The last bullet point, I think, is, in my mind, what we all should be striving for, and I think that's really my message, is not so much what did we do for IR. I think we're encouraging joint development and teaming to grow sustainable, strategic cross-border niche work to build sustainable income growth, client service specialties, and market positions, which helps all the IR firms in ways that no individual firm could build alone. That's what I think we're supposed to be doing, every single one of us.
Yeah.
That's my message to you today. Thanks.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Nick.